Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to stick around, because today's topic might just save you from a lot of wasted time. Energy and heartbreak. Let me tell you something. Women don't always say what they mean, but they always mean what they say. And if you're not paying attention, you could be walking straight into a trap. There are certain things a woman can say that should send alarm bells ringing in your head. And I'm not talking about little disagreements or differences in opinion. I'm talking about red flags, so big they could block out the sun signs that scream, "Get out now before it's too late." Too many men ignore these warnings thinking, maybe she didn't mean it that way, or I can change her mind. No, if she says these things, it's not by accident. It's a window into how she thinks, how she views relationships, and most importantly, how she sees. You see, modern dating is a minefield. And the big BG mistake you can make is investing your time, energy, and emotions into a woman who doesn't respect you. You don't want to wake up one day realizing you wasted months or even years on someone who was never good for you in the first place. That's why this video is so important. I'm going to break down 5 phrases, just 5, that if they ever come out of a woman's mouth should make you seriously reconsider your involvement with her. Because here's the truth. A woman's words reveal her mindset, and her mindset determines how she'll treat you. If she says these things, she's showing you who she really is, and your job is to pay attention now. Before we dive in, let me make one thing clear. This isn't about bashing women. This is about protecting yourself as a man. 2, many guys stick around in toxic relationships because they don't recognize the signs early enough that stops today. So, if you want to avoid unnecessary stress, heartbreak, and wasted time, keep watching. I'm about to give you the blueprint to spotting the women you need to walk away from before it's too late. Let's get into it. 1. We don't need to define this. We don't need to define. This, fellas, if a woman tells you we don't need to define this, she's sending you a loud and clear message. You're an option, not a priority. And if you stick around, you're setting yourself up for confusion, frustration, and wasted time. Let's be real when a woman is truly interested in you. She wants clarity. She wants to know where things are going. If she's avoiding labels, it's because she wants the benefits of a relationship, without the responsibility of one that means she can do whatever she wants, see whoever she wants, and still have you around as a backup plan. Now, some guys hear this and think, maybe she's just taking things slow. Nope, there's a difference between pacing a relationship and keeping it undefined forever if months have gone by, and she still dodges the "what are we" conversation. She's not confused. She's keeping her options open. And here's where it gets dangerous. The longer you stay, the more emotionally invested you become. Meanwhile, she's living stress-free, knowing she can leave whenever she wants, no strings attached, and when she finally moves on, you're left wondering what went wrong, while she's already on to the next guy. Think about this. Would you ever apply for a job where the boss says, "Let's not define your role, just show up and work"? Of course not. You'd want to know your position, your benefits, and your future in the company. Relationships work the same way. So what you should do if a woman tells you she doesn't want to: define things, walk away, or at least take a big step back. Make it clear that you're looking for something real, not a situation where she controls all the rules. If she truly values you, she'll make things official. If not, she was never serious in the first place. And here's something to remember. A woman who really likes you will never risk losing you to another woman if she's okay with keeping things casual. Indefinitely, it's because she doesn't see you as the one. So don't settle for confusion. If she's dodging commitment, let her go and find someone who actually wants to build something with you. Simple. Take me as I am. 2. Take me as I am. When a woman says, "Take me as I am," it might sound like confidence, but in reality, it's often just an excuse to avoid accountability. What she's really saying is, I don't need to improve, and you just have to deal with it. This phrase is a warning sign because it shows she's not interested in growth, compromise, or making the relationship better. It's all about her. Every healthy relationship requires both people to evolve. No one is perfect, and that's okay. But refusing to acknowledge flaws and work on them is a major red flag. Imagine you're in a relationship where every time you bring up a concern, she dismisses it with, "That's just how I am." Where does that leave you? It leaves you frustrated, unheard, and forced to accept things that may not be okay. Let's put it into perspective. Imagine you're always on time for dates, but she constantly shows up late, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. You finally bring it up, explaining that it makes you feel disrespected instead of acknowledging the issue. She says, "That's just how I am. I'm always late. You should just accept it." Right there, she's telling you that your feelings don't matter. Instead of making an effort to be better, she's expecting you to just put up with behavior that bothers you. Now, what happens when this mindset applies to bigger issues? Maybe she has a bad temper and flashes out over small things. Maybe she refuses to communicate when there's a problem, if she's unwilling to grow in a relationship. Where does that leave you? You'll always be the one adjusting, always bending to fit her world while she refuses to do the same for you. That's not a relationship, that's emotional. Selfishness. A strong woman doesn't say, "Take me as I am." A strong woman says, "I'm not perfect, but I'll work on myself just like you will." That's the kind of partner you want. Someone who understands that love is a two-way street. If you hear a woman say, "Take me as I am," pay attention to how she says it. If she's using it to avoid taking responsibility for bad behavior, that's a problem no one should be expected to tolerate. Disrespect, lack of effort, or unwillingness to grow if she refuses to meet you halfway. The best thing you can do is walk away. There are women out there who will value you and put in effort. Don't waste your time on someone who won't three. You're lucky to have me first. It might sound like confidence, but if you really pay attention, it's often a sign of entitlement. When a woman says this, what she's really implying is that she's the prize, and you should feel grateful just to be in her presence. But let's get one thing straight. A healthy relationship is built on mutual appreciation, not one person feeling superior to the other. Now, of course, confidence is attractive. You want a woman who knows her worth, just like you should know yours, but there's a difference between knowing your value and using it to belittle your partner. If a woman constantly reminds you that you're lucky to have her, but never shows gratitude for you, it's a problem. A strong relationship isn't about one person feeling like the catch, while the other feels like they have to constantly prove their worth. That's not love, that's imbalance. Think about how this plays out over time. If she truly believes that you're the lucky one, what happens when there's an argument? What happens when you have needs, concerns, or expectations? Chances are she'll dismiss them because in her mind, she's already doing you a favor by being with you. She won't feel the need to compromise because why would she, after all? She thinks she's the one in control. This mindset can also create a dangerous dynamic where you feel like you have to constantly earn her approval. Maybe you start going out of your way to impress her, apologizing even when you're not wrong, or putting her happiness before your own just to keep her satisfied. And guess what? It will never be enough if she sees herself as the prize. And you as the lucky one, she will always expect more while giving less. A great woman doesn't need to tell you that you're lucky to have her. She shows you through her actions. She appreciates what you bring to the table. Just like you appreciate her. She values the effort you put in and makes sure she's doing the same. That's the kind of dynamic that leads to a strong, lasting connection. If a woman keeps reminding you that you're lucky to have her take a step back, and ask yourself, does she make you feel valued or just replaceable? A relationship should be built on mutual respect, effort, and appreciation, not one person thinking they're above the other. If that's not what you're getting, don't be afraid to walk "all my exes were the problem" away. 4. All my exes were the problem. If a woman says this, it might seem like she just had bad luck in relationships. But take a second to really think about what she's saying. She's telling you that every single guy she's been with was toxic, crazy, or immature, but somehow she was never the issue. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern, and if you're not careful, you'll be the next guy on her list of horrible exes. Here's the truth. Relationships take two people. Of course, some men out there are problematic, just like some women are. But if a woman refuses to take any accountability for past relationships, that's a huge red flag. It means she's either unable or unwilling to reflect on her own mistakes. And if she doesn't see what she did wrong in the past, what makes you think she'll handle things any differently with you? But let's be honest, too many men ignore this sign. They hear a woman talk about her crazy exes and immediately take her side, thinking she just needs a good guy like me. Wrong. If she has a history of broken relationships, it's not always about the men. Sometimes it's about her choices, her behaviour, or the way she handles conflict. And if you step in trying to be her saviour, you're setting yourself up to be blamed when things go wrong, just like the guys before you. You wake up a woman who can't acknowledge her past mistakes, will repeat them if every ex she had was a liar, a cheater, or a terrible person. What's the common denominator? Either she's constantly choosing the wrong man, or she's creating problems in her relationships that she refuses to see. And if she refuses to see them, that means she's not learning. And if she's not learning, she's not growing. That's the kind of woman who will turn around one day and say the exact same things about you. What you need is a woman who owns her past. A woman who can say, I made mistakes too. And I've learnt from them that's someone who's mature enough to be in a real relationship. Because let's face it, nobody is perfect. A woman who never takes responsibility for anything will never take responsibility for hurting you either. So don't ignore this red flag. If she blames every past relationship on the other person, be smart enough to recognize what that means. You don't need to be another name on her list of problems. Walk away while you still can. 5. If you loved me, you would. This is one of the most dangerous phrases a woman can say in a relationship. Why? Because it's pure emotional manipulation. She's not asking for love. She's trying to control you. She's setting up a situation where if you don't do exactly what she wants, she can make you feel guilty by questioning your love for her. That's not love, that's a power play. Now, let's get one thing straight in a healthy relationship. Partners should be able to express their needs and feelings. There's nothing wrong with wanting something from your partner. But when a woman starts attaching your love to your willingness to comply, that's where the manipulation begins. She's saying that love isn't about mutual respect, trust, or understanding. It's about you proving yourself over and over again. And here's the trap. If you fall for it, once you'll keep using it. Maybe at first it's small. If you loved me, you would canal your plans and stay with me tonight. But over time, it escalates. If you loved me, you would stop talking to your female friends. If you loved me, you would buy me this. If you loved me, you would do exactly what I say before you know it. Your life is revolving around keeping her happy, just to avoid feeling guilty. The worst part, it's never enough. No matter how much you do, there will always be another test, another condition, another demand. And if you ever push back, she'll flip it on you. Suddenly, you're the bad guy. You're the one who doesn't care. You're the one who's not trying hard enough. That's emotional control at its finest. This is where a lot of men go wrong. They ignore the signs and think that by giving in, they're proving their love. But real love doesn't require constant proof. A woman who genuinely loves you won't put your emotions through a test. Every time she wants something, she'll respect your choices, your boundaries, and your ability to say no. If you ever hear this phrase, stop and think, is she expressing a real need, or is she manipulating your emotions? Because the moment love turns into a bargaining tool, you're no longer in a relationship, you're in a game you can't win, so don't play along. Don't let guilt push you into a situation where you're losing yourself just to prove something. Love is about mutual care and effort, not tests and ultimatums, if she can't accept that walk. Conclusion away, at the end of the day, the biggest mistake men make is ignoring the signs and thinking they can change. A woman who doesn't want to change. Too many men fall into the trap of justifying bad behaviour, making excuses and hoping that if they just love her enough, she'll treat them better. But let me tell you something. A woman who doesn't respect you will never truly love you. And if you don't respect yourself enough to walk away, you're just making it easier for her to keep using you. Now, I know some of you have been in situations like this before. Maybe you've dealt with a woman who refused to define the relationship, made you feel like she was doing you a favour by being with you, or used guilt to get what she wanted. If any of this sounds familiar, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment below and tell me your experience. I'll be reading them, and I might even reach out because, trust me, you're not alone in this. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this real. Love doesn't come with conditions, games, or manipulation. The moment you see these red flags, don't argue, don't negotiate, don't make excuses. Just walk away, because the sooner you do, the sooner you open the door for a woman who actually deserves you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.